A very good morning, 5 minutes to midday. Welcome to Your World. That was the Africa Urban Forum that we just segued into it because we have to continue with Your World and we have such an amazing show lined up for you. Today being a Trendy Thursday, we are taking you to theater. We're taking you to that space. And not just as a space for entertainment, but also a space where you face demons, you face realities and truths as well. But, you know, just putting all of that in a beautiful, palatable way for you as an audience. So welcome to Your World. I'm your host, Mikali Mary. And the question that we're asking you today in regards to the conversation we're having is, have you ever stayed silent even when you knew the truth? Have you ever stayed silent even when you knew the truth, and why? Please indulge us, and you'll understand why we're asking you this question, because it's based on the story that is probably going to be put on stage. We'll find out more about it. We'll find out more about it in just a bit. But let me introduce the amazing panelists here with me. Starting from my immediate left, we have Mike Ndeda. Mike Ndeda, who's a scriptwriter, director of the show Fragments, is the founder, Sons of Muji Productions. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Lovely to have you on the show. Right next to her, we have actress and singer Neema Mtawali. Karibu sana. I know you promised to do the thing. We will do it later. We shall do it. Andrew Ndeda is right next. He's an actor, plays prisoner in this particular show, Fragments, director, co-founder, Sons of Muji Productions. Karibu sana. Lovely to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Last but not least, we're going to do the thing. Beryl Hope, stage manager, also plays students in the show, a student in the show Fragments. Karibuni.
Asante. Asante.
Based on the question that we are asking the audience today, and it's a pretty direct question. If it can be deeper if you think about it, especially in regards to the script that you put down. And the question is, have you ever stayed silent even when you knew the truth, and why? Now, based on that question and the story that you wrote, how easy is it to just go against everything within you probably telling you to stay back, or society is expecting you to just hold back, or probably respect some person because they are high ranking in society or they have some sort of leadership? How true or easy is it for someone to do that? And for you to put it on paper, was it your way of just watching you say in this way?
I think me putting it on paper as an art, as simple, anybody can try to tap into that. But I feel at times we do the right thing for the wrong thing for the right reasons, or the right thing for the wrong reasons. So maybe it's a compromise. I feel if I say this, how will people take it? How will the society perceive me? So that's how, even in my writing, I try to curate something that talks to people. How we put the story. This way, it's not harsh on you, but it's an awareness. It's something you're trying to just open up to a world. Yes. Okay.
So maybe just a brief on what Fragments is about, so that people can also understand where we're starting this show on such high bile of speak the truth or forever hold your peace. But this is based on a true story. How far back was that?
It was, I think, 2011.
Yeah.
So actually, Fragments is a story about someone reached out to me and told me, hey, I have to tell you this. Then I asked him, can I tell it as a story? Now that I'm a creative, it means you're representing someone. Your story talks to someone, I might represent someone.
Yeah.
So it was, I think, 2011, 2013. So Fragments is a story about someone who is in prison for a crime I don't know if
allegedly did not commit.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah.
But in his past life, he was a teacher.
Okay.
So something happened in school. He was chasing a promotion in school.
Yeah.
Then the politics around promotion. I want this, you want this. Then a story was curated. He was framed or something. We don't know. I think when they come for the show, we'll try to understand. But Fragments is a true story.
Okay.
This person served a sentence in prison for a while for a crime that
he doesn't
technically. He doesn't know why he's in prison.
Okay.
And again, it goes back to there's so many people in prison who are there, but they don't know why they are there. They don't have someone who can talk for them, represent them. So somebody just feels, let me serve the sentence. But in the midst, it's silence. So silence for whatever is.
Naona basi ajaribu kutukosa kutuambia kila kitu. Sawa tu. And this is for you, when you first saw or read the script, what drew you to it? Because there kuna master wengine ukiwapatia script na sija mention names. Atakuwa like this I will not do, probably for personal reasons, for grounding of different things. But when you read this script for the first time, how was it? And for any other script, what is it that you look for so that you're like, this I want to own, this I want to be a part of?
For me, I think what drew me to the script is how easily it is able to mirror society. Yes, because you can write a script and then it's not relatable to the common person. But if you can be able to like communicate something to someone who's normal, someone who's like they can be able to relate in a certain way, I feel like you've achieved something. So for me, the ability to communicate such a powerful message in a way that can be palatable for mtu wa kawaida. That's yes.
Nema, you're also a singer.
Yes.
So when I look at singing and acting, they're all performances. There's all emotionals, all of them are emotional, but how do you then infuse music into the storytelling, or what do you draw from what to help you, just bring out the best of the best when it comes to a performance?
Okay, with music, I feel like it helps you create an environment for the story to be brought out. Because even in the movies we watch on TV, there's always a soundtrack. Always. So at a Nigerian movies, you'll find when someone is crying, there's a soundtrack. There has to be a soundtrack. So I feel it creates that environment that the audience is able to immerse themselves visually. And I believe that they go hand in hand, because you can act, but also the music, like it's like sauce, like spice to the acting.
Yes. Are we going to, is it something that you intentionally do? Is it probably a production that knows you can do both, then they will try and fuse that? Or do you do, if it doesn't have music, I'm not going to do it?
I feel like I can act solely without like the music. It's totally fine for me, but it fulfills my heart when I'm in a musical play.
Exactly.
It's like all of me in one. And I love that. The same question in terms of just seeing the script for the first time, and we'll just skip over to Burial first. Seeing the script for the first time, reading it and choosing to own it, and not just this one, but for every other production that you will get, how do you get to choose what relates to you, what speaks to you?
I think after reading the script, you'll have to like relate with it first, as you said. Then later on you can decide, can I do it this way or the director's way? Because as we were talking before, there are people who improv, right? Now, you don't know if they're doing it from experience or from the love of art. So once you read the script, it's either you're doing it from experience or just because you love the art.
Okay. I think fair enough. We fall into that trap where passion takes over. I see myself as a serial killer, the things that I can do, and we get to live multiple lives if we give ourselves a chance to just embrace whatever script we're given. Directing, acting. At what point do you pull out the kofia? I've interacted with people who direct and act, and when they find themselves in a space where they're being directed by somebody else, kuna an itch ya kucorrect mwenye anakuambia kile ufanye. So how are you able to separate that two? Because you're playing prisoner in this one. This is the guy. This is you're playing a prisoner in this one. But you're also a director, so that means the way you think, the way you understand script lines and all of that is not kawaida. Like, I'll just read mine and probably just champua kidogo. But for you, you see movement, you see lighting, you see so many, you see sound. How are you able to separate those two, or how do you use all those skills to just make the best out of the performance?
It's quite a challenging task, if you ask
right?
me. Yeah, it pushes you to actually get to understand yourself better. And working with a team that gives you the chance to flip the roles of being a character and being also a director also gives you the chance to express yourself in both roles. And I can say the team that is working with Fragments and the music team, the acting team, and the entire body is just amazing. It gives you the role to actually you can even assign a task to characters and you trust them with that. And also you understand that most people have different ways in which they express their craft. So it's an amazing experience to actually get to be on stage and actually direct the music at the same time. And I would just like to commend the team for giving me a chance to blend in as a director's role and as a creative's role. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Mike, are you directing this one?
Yes.
Anasumbua?
There are those times you find that you're giving him instruction as the director and as an actor. So, as the director, and again, as a son of Moju. So, you're torn in between. So, that bit you talk about, I want to be harsh on you. But the rest will feel like, oh, so it's okay to...
you also have to be...
Yes. So
okay. It's not easy on you as well. It's not an easy task as well. Theatre, there's a statement that we keep hearing. It's a beautiful time to be in the theatre space, so to be an actor, to do all these things. What does that actually mean in the context, qua ground? Because this is what you do.
Yes.
Ni show after show. Multi-award winning. Could receive. But what does that mean in terms of even creativity, making sure that you do better than the other one? I know Fragments is coming back a second time this time, but what are some of the things that people will see that are different now? Like just keeping up with the game or doing better, because there's so many people now doing shows in theaters.
So to answer the first question, I think it's a good time in theater because people are actually reinvesting and investing in theater right now than before. So you find people theater gives you the liberty to express even more. It gives you the liberty to just make a choice. Like, it's only in theater where you can say, I feel like I can do this with the character. I feel like I can do this on set. But for other forms of art, unapata, there are structures. You must follow the structures. You can't just break things down. So I think it's a good time because people are coming back to theater. People are bringing that love back to theater. That's why you see people are preferring to... Actually, I was researching on something about the question you just asked. So you find even the OG actors in Hollywood are going back to theater. Because I think theater is a place where you can rehearse that character. It's a place where you can give life to the character, and it's in real time. It's real time, so you just have to be there.
I think it's really, really nice, and it's not just happening locally. I think it's happening across the globe, and we're seeing a lot of that, the shift happening. But when you talk about you upping it, you doing better than last time, because if you'll find the same people are coming. People who watched the show before, they're coming to just see. And lately we are having a lot of there was popular demand. Like we never left, because the people are asking for it. But then there's a need to give better. What does that pressure look like for you as a director? Because your name is on it. You wrote it, but then you need to bring aspects that are a bit different from what people saw the previous time.
So I think the power goes back to scripting. The power goes back to the story. So there's a way you would want to tell the story, and there's a way you amplify your stories. So what are those things that you use to amplify your story even better? So is it in terms of the music, in terms of your marketing, in terms of every other factor that elevates your story.
Yeah.
So that's where we are at. So I think as a director, as a scriptwriter, my emphasis goes back to story, because people are there for the story. That's why you say theater, it's real time.
It is.
If you don't get it in minute 1, minute 5, you switch off. You see, it's not like a movie where
Nikiboeka, you will see. I'll just grab my phone and you're on stage. I'll walk out.
So you see, the way you film, a play will grow on you. Like a movie, there's a time you'll watch, then okay, so it makes sense. You can rewind, you can favorite beats. But for theater, when you start the show, okay, so I don't understand. Back to my phone, back to other things. So how well you tell your stories, how you hook your audience to your stories is the win.
Okay.
And that's why people still come to watch the shows.
Even a second time after watching it.
Yes.
Beryl, you're also stage managing this. And for anyone who probably does not know what that actually means and how everybody seated here depends on you for everything, this is the time to shine. Beryl, who is a stage manager and what do they do? These people be shining, not knowing you're making sure everything is in order for them. But yeah, please tell us.
So the work of a stage manager simply is to communicate between the director and the talents, literally. Yeah.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Tu peke yake.
Ni rahisi, ni rahisi, but also I support behind the scenes, backstage. You deal with different, you're dealing with different people.
Yes.
Dealing with different people with different issues.
Yes.
Including tukokadi. So you have to also be on tours. You and the director, you're twinning at that point, because there's a lot that's coming in. We want to change this, we want to do the set, we want to do this, and you have to be in the know so that you can take the information to the talents.
Sort of like the glue, because even when the actors are not feeling each other, we are having tiffs here and there, it's you they look to to just be able to quell that. But then you're also acting in this, so I don't know how you're communicating to these people at the same time. You're on stage doing this thing. Where's the balance there?
Theater, you need to have a thick skin.
Hey! Yeah, man!
A literal thick skin. So you'll be directed by the director, you're mad at him, but also, why are you late, director? You know? So, tunapelekana tu hivyo pia.
Okay, okay. Nema, when it comes to probably getting into the role, into the characters, just sinking into that, people have different methodologies of doing this. There are people who just, like I was giving an example, someone who just grabbed the script and already by reading it day one, they have an accent, they have a movement, and the more times they try, they land on something beautiful. That's their way of doing things. There are people who will take it, go up a mountain and sit with it and meditate, talk to gods, and then come back and be like, Niko na maono. So what is your way of getting in character?
For me, I feel like understanding that character helps me a lot. Building a storyline for that character, a background, like basically developing that character. Once I know that, like the character, who they are, how their personality, because they have to be different from me.
That's true.
Even when they are, there's something that must distinct me and the character, so that I don't lose myself in the character. So I have to come up with a storyline, and then Pia, something I recently discovered is I make a playlist for the different characters that I have done. So for like the previous play I was in, I just purely listened to jazz, so that I don't that character loved jazz.
Playlist
Me personally, I love like Kenyan music.
Okay.
But let's say this is a student. A student might listen to now music that enter music, like things, different music from me, so that I can at least find out, okay, what is this person's personality? Why do they listen to this kind of music? What does this music speak about the character? Because I can love Kenyan music because I'm Kenyan and I'm passionate about the art. But this character loves maybe US music, American music, because they want to go there, they want to go into Broadway or something, just something that makes them different. So that playlist really helps a lot. But yeah, that's how I think into the character.
I think I'm going to steal that one. But then, even when you're building this character, building who they are, where they're from, what the age they are at, what kind of music they listen to, is that an individual thing, or is it done collectively with the director, with the crew, and everybody else, or is this a journey and then you come back on sasa uyu wangu ni mzungu, guys, akona accent, yeah, Jamaica. How does it work?
So the director and the script already has, like, gives you an idea of who this character is.
Yes.
So for instance, the character that I play is in school. So he's a student. So now I build around that. And then, yeah, I build around that, find out what they like, and then when maybe we're doing, like, we're talking about the play and what we feel about the play, I will say, okay, from me, the character I feel comes from this background, comes from, likes this music because of this. And there are clues also in the script and how the character behaves. And even when you're on stage, you can embody that character well when you understand them.
Absolutely, like how they walk, probably if they have a lisp or not, you know, those things. So you're able to, wow, okay, that's really good. How do you do it, Andrew?
Playing prisoner in Fragments is quite a critical role, if you ask me. There's a lot that prisoners usually go through.
People go to prisons to just get this character.
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Oh, come on. I was joking, guys. I was joking.
I'm not even kidding.
Wow.
My father happens to do ministry in prisons. So he spreads the gospel in prisons.
Yes.
So there's one day he invited me over and he was like, can you come just see what goes on? And I happened to just go through major prisons in Kenya. And it was all about the gospel, but getting to see them in prison, getting to see how they act, how they react, give me some sort of inspo. And I was like, there are very many people who go through different cases in prison, and all of them are put in one space. They have different stories, they have different experiences, they have different taglines. For example, petty criminal can be put in the same spot with hard criminals. What type of influence do they have on the specific individual? There's some of the prisoners who don't even have the right to fair trial, and they're put in prison. So there's a lot of stories that usually go on in prison. So what happened is, on me picking or maybe choosing to have the prisoner's role was basically from the major director, who actually saw that and was like, can you use that as a hack into the prisoner's role? And I was like, okay, if that is what the director saw, then I need to embody all those features and characters and all that. And I'm working with a team as well who are fellow prisoners in the same scene. So I have to remind them or maybe tell them what I saw, what I've experienced. And for those who are coming to watch the play, they'll actually get to see that there's very many cases or scenarios where prisoners usually have grievances. They would like to maybe raise a voice. Like the theme of today, it says there are very many voices that are silenced.
Yes.
So we look forward to expressing that story, Fragments, to telling the plight of prisoners who actually are in prison for crimes they may have not committed, or others who deserve right to fair trial, and others who actually they have so many skills, they're so educated, but they're in prison. So how can the nation actually harness their skills and actually give it back to society? What happens to the prisoners when they are released? Do they rejoin the community? Do they have some form of rehab before they join the community? How does the community absorb them or maybe take them back into their families? So it's a whole conversation going on, and I just say it was just an amazing chance to play a prisoner in Fragments and tell out the experiences that prisoners actually go through when they're sharing their stories or maybe when they're telling their stories. And I think that's much of it.
This is the hill, the mountain I was talking about. Because, what was the most shocking thing for you as you walked this journey of understanding the life of prisoners, going to different prisons, because they have different cultures in different prisons?
Yes.
But what was the most shocking? It could be 1, 2, 3 things that you experienced that were just mind-blowing. You probably never imagined anything like that happens.
Yes.
There. Yeah.
My one thing that particularly made me, it was shocking to me, is that I walked around different cell sections, and there are some very young individuals. You find someone who's like maybe less than 18. They're in prison, and then they're calling you out like a brother. They say, bro, unaweza nisaidia na maybe towels or maybe slippers or something that I can use for my sanitation or hygiene. That was one out of the many things that I got to see there. And then there's some people who actually are in prison, but their families don't know that they're in prison. So it so happens that they just continue living lives without being visited, without having that feel of my family is out there. They can come, or maybe at times you find the community has not accepted that individual because he's actually in prison. So they say he'd rather stay there. We will visit when we will have time to, but they don't necessarily visit. So when you walk into those prison cells, someone calls you bro, someone calls you my son, someone calls you my brother, and you feel like, I really wish that his family or maybe people would have visited him so that he can feel a little bit at ease, or maybe he would get some form of help. Be it medical or maybe nutrition or maybe something like that, so that he feels a little bit he's okay. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen in most prison cells, but I'm just saying if there is some form of acceptance that a person is supposed to serve his sentence in a correctional facility and later on rejoin the community as someone who is whole again, it can be such a wonderful experience for me.
Yes. It feels like it's quite emotive, the show. And even as we work hard to get into characters, if it's this emotional, then sometimes it can weigh on you.
Yes.
I did not understand this very well until a show I did recently, and I did everything I needed to do on stage. And the moment I took my final bow and went to the changing room, I broke down. Like, it was just tears everywhere. The emotion, the body does not forget what it felt when you were acting, so it's real for the body. How do you then, and now the tears just came back, how do you switch off? How do you get out of that space of heavy emotions? Because the same way you got in, you have to find a way to get out.
Yes.
How's that for you, Beryl?
That's why we have therapists. We have, you know, actually in our production we have therapists, including our director. So if you're kama mko na bahati
kama imekubeba hivi emotions unajua
unajua kuna mtu, but you just try de-roll that. If you can't do it alone, kuna mimi stage manager.
You help with that as well?
Yes.
Role yako ishangi tukifanya final bow? Oh wow.
Si sana. Yes.
Okay.
So you just try the role, try talk to someone, because theater space it's very hectic, it's very hard. Na kuna mtu unaweza pata hajadi role from the last play, amekuja akaingia directly to the other one. So there's a lot. But try the role, try talk to your director, try talk to different people, let people in, try listen to what did you do to come out of this emotion, what did you, for me that's what works. Talking out to people. Yes.
Is it intentional to have counselors, therapists, or is it because, Andrew, are you the one who's the counselor? Is it you?
Mike is the...
Even Nema.
Even Nema, yes.
Mlijichagua, sindio?
I think you just attract like
Okay. So was when you did it the first time, did you feel the need for that? Have you had to handle cases where it was too emotional for them to de-roll? And probably some people, especially if you're new in the scene, you probably have not found out what works for you to de-roll. You'll find people who go to Karura. Someone told me they go back to Shago. I want to go nione tu makuku zikikimbia huko nitakuwa tu sawa, and then darudi Nairobi. But not all people have figured out the thing. So how do you handle that as well?
So I think there was a time, it was a conversation, it was a dialogue where the industry was open to having activities where So how does someone de-roll?
Yes.
And how did you get to that role? And how do you release it?
Because there are dangerous things that people do to get to the role.
Yes. Yeah.
But then you don't know how to pull yourself out.
Because most of the time, you are in conversation with that character. Like, it's like a split personality. It's like something in you. So, unapata, the most time, the person you spend most of your time with is that character.
That's true.
That goes back to how immersed you are in that character. And most of the theater actors, they must be
Kabisa.
deep.
Nikishava hiyo costume nilishaingia hadi position ya kusimama.
There's something. Actually, even as the show starts, you actually feel something in you. It's like, I'm not here. There's just something
Has taken over.
Yeah. So I think in my production company, I found a way where I talk to my people. So you set an environment where they are free to talk, free to express, without hiyo kitu ya umetuambia sana, umeileta sana. So setting an environment for your cast members where they are free to talk to each other. That's my low-hanging fruit.
Okay, because at least you have that skill.
At least you have that skill.
Do they come to you as well, or do you offer it? Are you able, and how do you do it yourself as well?
Well, I try to have intentional conversations with people in a way that they can feel free to come and talk to me. Whether they come, now is upon them. But once I have a conversation with someone, I make it that in case they need me or they want to talk to me, they feel that they can. I also love the Sons of Muji Productions because they have, like, after every play, there is a gathering we usually have where we are able to, like, talk about our experiences, talk about how we can help each other de-roll and all that, and just, like, be with each other, which is, it grounds you. You remember, yes, I was part of something big, I can now let go. It has achieved what it needed to achieve. And if there are conversations that go on after that, you take pride in the fact that you were part of that conversation. So I really, really appreciate that we're able to have that kind of space where people can have those conversations. I remember there's a time in rehearsals I came in and we were having such a nice conversation about the play and the different social issues that happen inside the play and what it mirrors. And people had very strong opinions, but they were able to share that. You know, when you're in a space where you feel like you can't communicate your opinion, it becomes very hard. Even if you have opposing opinions, they were able to communicate those opposing opinions. And everyone was listening, everyone was taking it in, which is very, very nice. That means the conversations are happening, the conversations are being held, and people are also able to understand that this is someone's story that they're putting across. Even though they have that luxury of removing themselves from the character, there's someone who's living this life. There's someone who's going through it, in the thick of it, and we get to show other people that. So I really ensure that I am able to have those conversations where people can come to you.
Okay. We talked about being immersive, and you've carried stories from those prisons. You've carried images, and you're channeling into that a lot to be able to bring this character to life. And not just to yourself, but to everybody else on stage with you in this particular prison. And you get to relieve that a lot. Walikuwa wanajikunja aje, walikuwa wanakaa aje, what is the, how are they walking and all of that. So how do you then do the thing where you pick yourself out of that role again? And don't do it now, we need to see it. We need you as the prisoner for now.
I think it basically, there's a wide array of different scripts that come in. On the previous production that I did, I was acting as a mwanajeshi, guy from the army and all that. So it never hit me that I didn't de-roll up until it came when I was given a certain task to actually do another role. When I got the script and I was told you're going to be a prisoner, and I was like, okay. So I went back to my director, because my director is okay, he also is my psychologist, and he was like, so you need first of all to move away from the Mwanajeshi, come back to Andrew, then Andrew is being introduced to the prisoner. Now, getting to walk into the prison cells and moving into that, I have amassed all that, and getting to de-roll from it. I think acting is such a spiritual thing.
It is.
That without even intervention or maybe talking to God at some point, you might find yourself embodying a character without even knowing.
Yes.
And I think prayers usually work. Speaking to a spiritual guide in your specific religious denomination.
Yes.
Yeah, you go back, pray to God, seek help from God, and also talk more to people that remind you of exactly who you are. Because when you take a particular role in a script, you tend to have maybe major characters or maybe habits that move towards a specific character. So when you get to the role, you need to remind yourself of things that make you feel like yourself, or maybe things that connect you to exactly who you are. I think that's one of the things that helps me de-roll every single time. Maybe a favorite snack, a favorite place that I usually like staying, a favorite attire, a favorite playlist, music, or maybe a favorite hobby that will remind me to reconnect to exactly who I am.
Okay.
Yeah,
Takes you back
helps.
to Andrew.
It takes me back to Andrew.
Okay, I think that's important before we lose.
We lose.
Yeah, because every time we show up on stage, we give it our all, and that's why we make such amazing performances.
Yes.
There's a lot of work that is done behind the scenes. There's the marketing. There's making sure that you get the perfect crew. And you keep saying there's a team. That means what we're really about. This is just a drop of the people that work together. There's logistics, you know, you've got spaces to pay. You know where I'm going with this question?
Yes.
Would you say the industry where it's at is ripe enough for you? Has it been ripe enough for you over the years to be able to live comfortably off of this? And reward the actors as well. I mean, the founder. Reward the actors the way they need to be rewarded for the roles that they take, for the input that they do, the movement that they have to take, and all of that.
So I think for so many years, I fed on passion as an artist. Exposure. There's a bit where you question a lot. So why doesn't this happen? Why don't you just pay me? Why don't you just give me this? Then I got to that seat.
Okay.
Where I'm the one now to... Now I understood why I'm not supposed to pay you. Because there's no money coming in. There's no need, but you see how passionate these kids are. Mkomali nilikuwa some years back. So I understand. So now that I'm in that position, shouldn't I do better for myself and for you? So it goes back to the partnership that we have in the production. So most of our plays are theme-based.
Okay.
So let's say we are talking about, for example, gender-based violence.
Yes.
So how do we bring the communities to this space? And how do we talk to them in a way where we have a product?
Yes.
Let's say we have a product first, the show, the story, and we have a product, our gifts. So how can we try to work together to tell these stories?
Okay.
So you find there's so many people who are open to this, but they don't understand how to work this out, because most of them napata tu, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a nini. So those spaces pia, I feel they need creatives. So we need creatives even in those spaces where you have a lawyer who's an actor, or you have a doctor who's a producer, so that they understand if I'm channeling things this way, we are trying to meet a need.
Absolutely.
Trying to meet a need. So back to my cast. So we make sure we come up with the logistics.
guys. Winkie twice. Come on. Sorry, please continue, Mike.
We make sure we have a budget.
Okay.
So what will it cost us
to do this production?
So this is how the production can meet this. We can't meet this. So who do we bring in to offset things?
So partnerships, collaborations.
There are people who are willing not to give you money, but to pay you in product.
Yes.
You get?
Yeah.
So when somebody wants to pay in product, yes, you just come. So right now, unapata, we have sold out shows. Like for the past 2 years, I don't think there's a show in theater that hasn't had a full show.
Yeah.
Mona. So it means there are numbers in the theater, but how do we convert? The conversion is the problem.
Yeah.
So you find when I want to do a free show,
Yes.
for example,
Yeah.
I'll have I can book.
Unajanga.
I can book an auditorium from Monday to Friday.
Yes.
Night will be packed.
It will be packed.
But when it comes to paying, or when it comes to now giving the money in a
Yeah.
core, so why should we pay? So
Yes.
you have to convince me that it's a good show, it's a nini, it's a nini. So bado kuna hiyo.
Vuta nkuvuta.
But slowly we are going back. People are willing to pay.
Yes.
Actually, from the last show, we had a population of like 1,500 people across the 2 days.
Oh, wow.
More than 1,500 people. So
Okay.
meaning there's a need.
Yes.
There's a
Yes.
need. People want to be out there. People want to be talked to. People want
Do you think then we should master probably the stories that we're telling, the Kenyan stories we're telling, so that have we figured out what it is that they want, that we Kenyans want to see in theaters? Have we tapped into it? Have we got it? Would you say Sons of Muju has gotten it?
I think we have.
Hey.
I think we have. Because if looking at this will be our first full year.
Yeah.
We did our first 2 shows last year, but it was not a full year. So this year tunaanza upya.
Okay.
Tunaanza upya. So unapata to the point that we are in, we have a community, people who have chosen it's Sons of Muju. Ama it's this production company. Ama it's this nini, it's this. So people have chosen to support you.
Okay.
And they resonate with your stories. So you find somebody will come for the show and like the previous show, we had our set. So there's a lady who said, "Huku nushago kwetu." Like because she looked at the set and she was like, "How did you guys go to my home area?" So it goes back to how do we put our audience into that world where when a character is on stage, I feel like this is someone I know.
Yes.
That relatability where I can relate to this character. I can even if it's a villain, I understand this guy. I understand this guy. So it goes back to how well you tell your stories, how well you write, how well you do these things, what informs the characters, what informs the production, even the production. What do you stand for as a production company?
Okay.
So no isikwe, you're just going to entertain you guys. You just pay whatever you see on stage. You just come. So what do these guys tell us? So what are you advocating for? Mostly.
Okay.
Yes.
I'd like to find out how long it took for you to figure that out. Now, passion ikaishia wapi at some point to move to, we need to make business sense. The question that we're asking you today is, have you ever stayed silent even when you knew the truth, and why? Question of the day, have you ever stayed silent when you knew the truth, and why? Let's see the feedback that we have on WhatsApp. Yeah, so it's on your screen. Yeah, so you can indulge us. They'd like to join the crew. How are we open to auditions? Do we also, something I'd like to also find out, do you guys do trainings to just be able to rope people in, or do you work with just the same people when you're tunazoeana wanajua culture ya hapa and all of that? And Nema, were you part of the previous one?
Yes.
So manageable. No. So it was, you got the whole crew back?
Not the whole crew.
Okay.
I think it also goes back to the so even in music we have a wing.
Okay.
So Sons of Muju has a wing.
In music.
They have
that
wing.
makes sense.
The music wing. So there's Flourish. So Flourish does their own thing, where people there are people who would want to come to Sons of Muju, but they only want to be in the singing wing.
Yes.
So Flourish.
Okay.
Flourish. There are people who would want to join Sons of Muju, but they are in the dance wing.
Yeah.
You find Beryl
Our stage manager.
Beryl, you're a dancer.
She's actually a professional dancer and
Excuse
choreographer.
me.
So there's a wing. Then there are those who will actually tap into their talents.
Okay.
Find their public speakers in the crew.
Yeah.
So how do we set you up for the people who just want public speaking?
Yeah.
Everything. So Sons of Muju is like an umbrella for so many other things.
Other networks.
It's like an art center,
Yes.
performance center, thingy.
Yes.
So how can people join? Like for the message that we just got, how can people get in touch or be part of Sons of Muju? And how does it work then? Because most of the times you get a job, you get hired for the job.
Yes.
But then this I can come in to learn over time. So it's also like an institute of some sort as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
First of all, I think the creative is supposed to get to know how best they would like to express themselves in a particular craft. You might find maybe someone wants to audition as an actor, but they also have other multiple talents. So Sons of Muju is a platform where they can get to express both maybe singing and acting and dancing, among other activities. So there's open auditions. We usually have an audition call before we usually start any production, and then we get to have it's a circle of mentorship, whereby if we have individuals that have been in Sons of Muju Productions as a company that have worked there as actors or maybe as creatives, writers, artists, they get to find fresh talent that have auditioned into the production, and they get some sort of mentorship so that they get to know how to master the specific roles that they have. You might find even amateur actors, amateur singers, amateur dancers who actually are passionate about dance, passionate about expressing themselves in art, but they would like some form of direction, they would like some form of mentorship. So Sons of Muju uses the audition as some sort of chance for you to get to express yourself in the theater space based on how creative you are. So the recalls usually come back once Sons of Muju has noticed that you're a talent that we cannot miss, or maybe you're a talent that we can bank on in the future productions, and then we make a recall, or maybe you can ask for a fresh audition, and then we call the mentors, just as Beryl is, for example. She's a qualified, she's a professional dancer. She also does fitness, and she uses that as a platform to express herself under Sons of Muju. So if you find someone who's interested in dance, he or she can get to meet Beryl, get to express themselves in dance, and then now get some form of mentorship shown into that direction. And I think that's why that's how Mtawali got a way in which she came back into the production. She did her creativity, and then came back because she finds it as home. So Sons of Muju is like a community, it's like a hub, whereby if someone gets to express themselves as a creative, they can even go out there and they can always come back home. And when they come back, they find a family, they find different people that really want to get to express themselves, but they don't know how to. We also form this packaging. We have this packaging and branding of individuals as actors, as singers. How does someone get to perform on a stage? How does someone get to express themselves even on social media? What type of photos are you supposed to present yourself as an actor or maybe as a singer? How will the audience get to absorb you as a creative in a professional way? Not in a way that you just walk to a person and tell them, "Hi, I'm a creative," and then now they start believing, "I'm a singer, I can sing, I can dance." Into now, if when the opportunities come, when you have new partners, when we move into national or maybe international conversations, we have that which someone can equally express themselves as a creative in a very corporate space. They have bios, they have different outlines in which they would like to professionally indicate that they are not only creatives, but they are also packaged artists out there. Yes.
Wow. Beryl.
Yeah.
Professional dancer, fitness enthusiast.
Yes.
Incorporating all of that and how important it is, because movement is amazing on stage. Incorporating that even before we get on stage, during rehearsals, and the importance of that. We recently had a little tiny workshop where we were just introducing people who are not even in theater to what the rehearsal room looks like.
Yes.
And some of the craziest things happen in there. You're told to just move like a gorilla.
Yes.
Make sounds like a gorilla. And it's movement and it's sound and all of that. So the importance of that when it comes to, your performance on stage as well.
The importance of rehearsing.
Movement, dance.
Okay.
Being fit.
So, importance of dance. Dance is also like theater. Literally, you'll do the facials. When you're stressed, you'll dance. When you're sad, you'll dance, because it also has the emotions. It brings out all your emotions. So, the importance of movement in theater. Once you're free with yourself, you'll immerse yourself.
Just do it like
It's okay. It's fine.
You'll get to immerse yourself easily and gel easily with the character itself.
Yeah.
So during rehearsals, we actually do exercises. We actually do dance. We have a dance in the play, an amazing dance actually. So
that you choreographed.
That's our choreographer choreographed.
Okay.
Yes. So I think it's so important because rehearsals are very hectic, and once you're not free, you'll get tired. So you'll have to experience it from either an expert or also just by yourselves. Yes.
Okay. Misconceptions. We are always getting new people to join us in theater. We're getting new audiences every other day. Like you said, the numbers are growing, and it's new people who probably have never experienced that particular space. But when you interact with such people, what are some of the misconceptions that are out there when it comes to theater? Mbona hawakujangi theater? Na vipotea reasons zao unamwangalia uko tu. Siko najua inabambanga hivyo. Ungejuaje na hata hujawahi come?
I think their first interaction with theater. So the first itakabali lakini sawa. So the first time they interacted with maybe what they know as a play.
Yes.
Ni what we used to do in the 90s.
Aha.
So when you
Drama
tell,
Fest.
Yes.
No.
So when you tell someone come to a theater show, he's like, so zile vitu zenyu za
drama.
za nini za drama. So he's like, hey, I can't pay 1,000 bob to
go?
Yeah,
I
can't
guys.
pay 1,000 bob to this. Then things like the interaction with artists. I feel most of our artists don't know how to express themselves
in the branding conversation.
The branding,
yes.
So even when they approach you, they are like, so you come to show it. So that is enough for me to actually that's conversion enough for me.
Yes.
So there are a lot of things actually, and how well we talk about theater, how well we talk about our shows, how well. Because I realize most of it's a thing now, formal. So you invite someone to a show, they're like, next time. Then you do the show, it's huge. They're like, so you show ilikuwa hivyo, so I'd like to come for the next. Come for the next. So it's a thing. Kimekuwa ni kama I have to either mtu watch on my behalf.
Okay.
So that I'm convinced that it was a good show. I watch from social media, the reels, the marketing. So very nice reels, very nice videos. Then say, okay, it's something that I can try. So when they come, they realize, oh, so I think the misconception is not even on the artist, it's on the audience.
Yes.
So when they come, they're like,
kumbe guys, tena mtawahi ni plug.
Na bado atasema unitengi hizi vitu zenu.
Anyway, I know our time is about to come to an end. I want us to do like a little game.
Yes.
Okay. The who's most likely.
Okay.
Kind of question. So who's most likely to choose a role that scares them the most?
I feel Andrew.
Yeah, okay. Who is most likely to say no to a role just because it's controversial? They can't be party to that.
She'll be like, people are watching.
What is the thing that you said no to recently? Or something that probably you know for sure, this, as long as it's me, I will never do anything like that?
Well, I think it was a gig, something I've said no to.
Yes.
But I like it's something that would be nice for me.
You are required to.
You're
required to do
but
something.
it's not falling on Mtawali as a person.
Let me tell you. I got a gig recently, like last year. And me personally, I am a Christian. I've been brought up as a Christian. But the gig is very not Christian.
Nia dunia.
Nia dunia. And then I sat and I was like, my parents,
My God,
my
punish
people,
me.
my friends, my God. But I said, okay, but wow. But I'm learning to really take risks, take more risks, so that I can further my career as well. Because I don't want to put myself in a box.
Who is most likely to be overly dramatic, even off stage? Yani character yake basi ilikuwa dramatic, but hata off stage. Akoko.
Beryl.
Beryl.
Oh, it's Beryl.
Beryl.
I would not have guessed. I really would not. Forget their lines on stage? Who's likely to forget their lines on stage?
Beryl.
Beryl.
Tungeanza na hii game.
And they won't show.
They won't show.
Yeah, they won't
I don't
show.
have to but
Yeah, so you look like you're the one who's not getting together because me, I'm in character without the lines.
you don't need lines.
This is like director.
It wasn't like that.
I'm shocked. Oh, Lord. I want to say special thanks to you guys. Thank you so much for coming through. When is the show? How can we plug into that?
So the show is on 12th April at the Kenya National Theatre.
Yes.
So kujeni. Probably more invite the wrong way, but
Sawa.
wanajua the language.
Right.
Be there.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you all of you for tuning in. This has been Your World Trendy Thursday with me, Mukali Mary. Adios. Asante sana.